This is the October legendary fusion we've all been waiting for. Yes, I made no mistake by saying fusion. So that means this is not a fragment summoning event. This is going to be an old school fusion. In this video, I want to go over this champion skills, take a first look. I've not seen any of his skills, his abilities, whether it's going to be useful or not. I want to see what he can do in the game and tell you whether I will be going for it on my main account, which is 3 years old, or on my noob to pro free to play account, which is just 86 days old. So I want to weigh in and see whether this champion will be worth it, because old school fusion are known to be extremely difficult to complete. So let's just head straight into it. First of all, we have to comment about his character design. That's the first thing that jumps out to you once you see this champion. He's a panda, the first of his kind in Raid Shadow Legends. I think I should be right about that. The first. But check out what his character design looks like. He's, judging by the character design, it looks like he's gonna be, I'm looking at the background, you see a lot of horns, and so that's a skinwalker, maybe a skinwalker. I've not even talked about his name first, but he's an animal, therefore it should be a skinwalker, right? So I don't know yet, but let's just see the rest of his skills and abilities. You guys bear with me, this is my first impression. It's not like I'm gonna help you decide. I just want to tell you the information first as it's coming out right now, and then you can decide on your own whether you want to go for it or not. If I make any mistakes or misjudgments, always correct me in the comments below. I'm always looking forward to learning from you guys also. All right, let's switch over and find out what his name is. I'm gonna give you a hint. It has to do with something with the stick that he's holding. That's a bamboo stick, right? So that's his name is gonna be Bambus. I almost thought that was a name for somebody from the Seven Watchers, because of his last name is actually Fourleaf. Let me switch over and show you this character design straight up to show you his whole skills, abilities, and all that. So he's a legendary champion, support, what do you call it, magic affinity right here, and that's his full name, Bambus Fourleaf. There's nobody that can mispronounce this one, right? It's clear as day that has to do with bamboos, right? So let me see. Even the A1 has to do with bamboo. Is Red joking right now? This champion is just funny. That means he's not a damage dealing champion. He's gonna be a support affinity support type of champion right here, because he's like a fun. I hope they give him good skills or good animations, because he already has a funny name to go along with the whole. I just like his aesthetic. So this champion is going to be from the skinwalkers. I was right about that. That's his affinity right here at the top. And let me go straight to this A1. Let me stop talking about his character design right now, because he does look cool, I tell you. The first of his kind, I think. All right, Bamboo Splitter A1 will attack one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. That's a standard A1. It's not a useless one. It's a support type of A1. Placing decreased speed is a 50% chance though. Why not a 100% chance? I just looked at it because we do have a lot of champions who currently place decreased speed at a 75% chance on booked, and then when you book it, it's a 100% chance of placing slow speed. So that's the first thing I noticed right here. That A1 is kind of, come on, are we in 2020 or are we in 2023? Come on, give us A1s that are decreased speed A1s and 100% chance of landing it. Let me read on though, let me not judge first. And will attack all enemies instead if the initial target is under 2 or more debuff. That's conditional. We don't like conditions. And let's see again. This attack has a 40% chance of placing 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns for AoE. So if the target already has 2 debuffs when you attack him, right, you will put slow speed 40% chance, again booked up to a 65% chance for 2 turns. AoE slow speed, not consistent on one target, not even consistent on an AoE. It's a condition. It's kind of weird. Then he places sleep debuff on this champion for 1 turn. The debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. That is on the single target champion, right? Sleep on an A1 that cannot be resisted or blocked is crazy. Now I said a lot of things about the slow speed, but when I saw that sleep that cannot be resisted, cannot be blocked, not even block debuff buff can block this one. Stone Skin, I don't think Stone Skin can block it either. When they say cannot be blocked, I don't think. We'll have to see. But I know block debuff buff cannot stop it. So therefore, I don't know about Stone Skin though. So that's it right here on his A1. It's not a useless one, it's a useful A1. So already this champion is already impressing me starting from his A1. It's a lot of read on that A1. Yes, this champion skills is 2 pages long. So bear with me, guys. Let's see on the A2, Grove Tender. That's a 5-turn cooldown. When you spend books on it to be a 4-turn cooldown A2, what does it do? He attacks all enemies. Okay, when he attacks all enemies, before attacking though, it places shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of their max HP. We don't like to see that. We like to see shield buffs placed on his max HP. So this champions doesn't say what this damage will be based on. Definitely not a damage dealer though. We are not looking at that. Also increases duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. So that's a buff extender. Buff extender. I already have what's her name? Sandler's Survivor. But here it comes, placing shield buff on everybody and then increases duration of all buffs on them. I don't think he will increase the duration of that shield though from a 2-turn. It will probably increase the other buff that you probably have on yourself already. All right, so that's a shielder and buff extender, which is useful somewhere. After attacking, has a 75% chance booked up to a 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. So that's increasing our buffs by 1 turn, then decreasing their buffs by 1 turn. But then it's after he attacks before he can do that decreasing of the enemy's buff. Even if the attack lands a weak hit, so it doesn't matter whether it's a magic affinity, force affinity, spirit affinity, or void. Even if he gets a weak hit, he still will decrease the duration of their buff by 1 turn. That's useful somewhere, I guess, and that's especially useful in content like maybe like Hydra or maybe special teams that needs to be speed tuned, or even clan boss, Demon Lord. So that's the place where we need buff extender the most, especially now that people are talking about cadaver and all that stuff. So this is one champion that does buff extending plus shield. Whether it's weak hit against the weak enemy or not, it will decrease the duration of their buffs also. Let's read on. Also increases the value of any shield buff on all allies by 2% for each enemy buff that had its duration decreased by this skill. What if the enemy doesn't have buffs? Because we like to totally strip enemies of their buff than decreasing the duration of their buffs. I guess it depends on your level of raid. Sometimes we just prefer those champions who just go in there and whoop, all your buffs are gone. That's what we like to do. But now he's gonna increase the value of your shield by 2% for each enemy buff that he decreases. So if there are 4 enemies, example, that's a 2, 4, 8, 8% shield added to the already shield that you have. 8% shield. Again, shield is not the most reliable way of dealing with some content this day in raid, because especially in PvP where your shield will just go bye-bye. But in PvE content, shield is still very viable in a lot of content as a way of staying alive. All right. Then places sleep. What is this do with sleep again? Sleep debuff on this champion for 1 turn. The debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. Wait, am I reading this wrong? Is it going to put himself to sleep? Because that's places AoE, that's AoE, right? Then places sleep debuff on this champion. The A1 also said on this champion, and I thought it meant the first enemy he attacked. Places sleep debuff on this champion, cannot be resisted or blocked. He's going to put himself to sleep. You guys let me know if I'm reading this right. It seems like this champion, after doing all this stuff, he will then go to sleep. Because you know how pandas, or is it grizzly bears, I don't know which of them, one of those family of bears, they like to hibernate for long period of time. So I guess that's in line with his skills, that he's going to put himself to sleep after doing a little bit of work, sleep, a little bit of work, sleep. I don't know if that's how he's going to work, but this is how I'm reading it, that he's going to put himself to sleep. A lot of sleep involved right here. All right, let me read on. And this is A3, right? Yes, A3, called Dream Sight. So I think this is going to be a lot of sleeping for this champion. Even this skill says Dream Sight. It will target an enemy. First places increase accuracy buff, and also increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. So that's an increased accuracy and increased attack. Is this champion just built for Hydra? When you put himself to sleep, he'll probably be awakened though. That's what I'm looking forward to. So when he increases their accuracy and increases their attack, he also has a 75% chance of placing in Enfeeble. What's Enfeeble debuff on the target enemy for 2 turns? That's the new debuff. The debuff cannot be placed on bosses. Enfeeble. Do I have to look this up? I didn't really pay attention to it when they were releasing it, but that's the new debuff, I guess. He's going to be one of the new champions that is having it. This Enfeeble debuff cannot be placed on bosses. Has a 75% chance of placing decreased accuracy debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Now we like to see that you're increasing our accuracy while decreasing their own accuracy also. Finally placing sleep debuff on this champion for 1 turn. So now I think I get it. He's gonna put himself to sleep no matter what he does. So that's on a 4-turn cooldown when you spend books on it. But you guys, I don't want to pause this video and go check out Enfeeble, but you can probably maybe I'll talk about it in more detail when we see him in the game. But this Enfeeble debuff, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about it. I've not seen it being used in raid. I think the last one we saw was the one that have to do with taunt or something that Emic has. But now this is a new debuff that this champion will come with in raid. So is it something that we'll have to use in that Shogun boss or something? I don't know. I don't want to look it up right now, but you guys can ask me in the comment, or I'll put it in the pinned comment when I finally post this video and check it out, what this Enfeeble debuff will do, because it's going to be placed on all the enemies, right? This is an AoE on the target enemy. No, just one. So that's a single target Enfeeble debuff. Why 75% chance of placing decreased accuracy? It doesn't say it's then places it to target an enemy. So that's a single target skill right here. The Enfeeble will be on 1 person, while the decreased accuracy will be on all the other enemies. 100% chance of landing decreased accuracy, increase our own accuracy, increase our attack. This is just screaming some endgame boss where Enfeeble will be useful, I guess. And now finally we are on to the end of his skills, which is the passive, which says has a 50% chance of transferring any debuff placed on an ally to this champion while they are under sleep. Who is gonna stay asleep? People in raid will not let you stay asleep. They will wake you up with all their AoE hits no matter where you use this champion, because obviously this doesn't seem like he's an arena champion, obviously. Although increased attack and increased accuracy might be useful somewhere, just like Lady Kimi goes before. We'll have to see his stats and see his base stats will be one of those champions who want to go really, really fast. Doesn't even have an aura. Okay, he have an increased HP in all battles by 25%, which is more of a PVE aura. All right. Some 50% chance of transferring any debuff placed on an ally to this champion while they are under sleep debuff. Will not transfer block, revive, stun, and all those other ones. But fear and through fear and stun, that's a common debuff that should be transferable. So you're gonna just transfer decrease defense, weaken, and decrease attack. That's it. Weird. Freeze, fear, through fear, and stun. Those are the ones that we're looking forward to him getting on himself instead. Just like UDK just takes everything. UDK just takes it to himself. We don't get it. So he should be able to do that, just like UDK. All right. At the start of this champion's turn, remove any sleep debuff from this champion. Oh, now I see why he's putting himself to sleep. Now I see. It makes sense now. It all makes sense now. So no matter what you read from his A1, A2, and A3, him putting himself to sleep, it doesn't matter. Why? Because before he takes a turn, in the next turn, he will just wake up. And so it definitely suits his type of champion, being a panda and all that stuff. So that's the passive effect. And then for the active effect, transfer all debuffs from this champion to the enemy with the highest resistance. If a sleep debuff was removed from this champion by this champion's passive effect, oh, you've just messed it up. Come on, you've messed it up. Just transfer it. Come on. You're transferring all his debuffs that he has taken from our allies to one champion with the highest resistance. Cannot be resisted, cannot be blocked. It should be the end of it. It doesn't mean that he should wake himself from sleep with his passive before this active effect will work. So if somebody else from the enemy wakes him up, that means he's not going to transfer any debuff. But again, transfer of debuffs from the allies to us is also not something that's going to be huge because it's not transferring all debuffs, right? Even if you provoke somebody on an enemy team while UDK is there, UDK will take that provoke, right? He will just not allow it happen. I love UDK. So this effect cannot be resisted. So what do you think about this Bambus Fourleaf? From what I see, he's still an amazing mid-level. I don't know yet about this Enfeeble debuff. That's why I can't really give him a rating. So will I be going for him on my main account? Hell yeah. But will I be going for him on my noob to pro? Hell no. When I talk of support characters on that account, I already have a lot of support champions. I have Emic, I have Rector Drat. So I'm thinking of support champions that can help me in content, and he's a support champion and I don't need more. I'll soon get Abita, I'll soon get what's her name, Seal of the Drake. So I have all the supports on that account. So he's coming in as a support champion who have increased accuracy, increased attack, a lot of other quirky things. It's going to be for an end game players are going to enjoy this champion, but we'll see special use case for this Enfeeble debuff that he's coming unique to raid. This might be the reason a lot of people want to go for him and not want to miss him, because if this is going to be a debuff that will be useful in the future or useful somewhere, increased accuracy, increased attack is not new, but having it together is awesome. That means he will have some use case also in PvP content. So that's where some people might use him, but definitely when I get him on my main account, this champion is looking for like a PvE champion, hands down. Somebody I'll put straight into my Hydra teams if I intend to build a Hydra Nightmare team soon, or to improve on the one I currently have. So that's Bambus Fourleaf. Is it worth being a legendary old school fusion? We'll have to see the stats, we'll have to see his base speed and all that good stuff. But from my main account perspective, this champion doesn't have anything special to offer me. Tell you right now, it doesn't have anything special to offer me. I might be wrong about this Enfeeble debuff. Like I said, I don't know what it does. I'm still in the dark about that. But if that is going to be a debuff that is going to be crucial somewhere, then he's going to be the first champion that I see in raid that has it, and that will make his value skyrocket. But from his A1, decrease speed is not even consistent. A2, shield, increase duration of my buffs, decrease duration of the enemies, that's also not unique. And then increase accuracy in increase attack is unique. In one skill is kind of unique. So currently I think Lady Kimi does just increase accuracy, right? And some other champions just do increase accuracy. Him comes in with the two of them, makes it unique. Even if you don't care about this Enfeeble debuff, this might be a unique increase accuracy and increase attack while also doing decrease accuracy on the enemies. It's going to be unique, something that will be everything actually needs. All right, let me end it right here. That's my first impressions of Bambus Fourleaf. I'll be going for him on my main account, no doubt. But on the noob to pro, I don't think this would be an easy skip for me, because old school fusion are extremely difficult to complete. That's one reason. It's not like he's a bad champion or anything. It's just gonna be a difficult fusion, and I will not be doing that, putting myself through that stress on that noob to pro account, which is just day 86. So I'm gonna skip out on the noob to pro straight out. I'll tell you my decision right here, because no need to delay any further. You guys let me know what you think about this champion. If I got any of these skills wrong or anything wrong, of course, let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'll go research and put comments about the first pinned comment. We'll be talking about Enfeeble and what it does. So I didn't want to pause the video. I just wanted to go with the flow and give you my first impression. And yeah, that's my first impression of this champion. Amazing, legendary champion. Hope they don't make the points too high and too crazy, because an old school fusion, they don't make it too extremely difficult for people to obtain. Please make it reasonable raid. Let's wait until the 4 days. It's going to be launching when? Let me quickly check again. When is this fusion launching? 28, right? It's going to be launching on the 28th of let me be sure. Yeah, 28th of September. That's when this old school fusion is launching. I don't even want to read much about what they said about him, but yeah, they have a lot to say about him. I just went straight to his skills. Maybe I'll even read about what they actually say about it. Let me just read it just 1 second before I end it. Say Bambus Fourleaf is a pretty helpful champion with some interesting mechanics down his sleeve. Mechanics down his sleeves or sleep? Oh, they meant to say sleeve. He's gonna shine bright in PVE content, exactly as I thought, especially battling the mighty Hydra, as I thought, but will come handy in PvP, just like some people will also use him for that increased attack and increased accuracy and also decreased accuracy content. Where his ability to place Enfeeble debuff, which makes him the first champion of its kind. I was right. I've never seen anybody have it. Did I tell us what Efeeble does? And boy oh boy, Bambus loves to sleep, and this opens up quite a potential for this fella thanks to how his passive works. He's gonna be awakened from that sleep by the enemies. I'm sure of it. That's why it doesn't make sense for him to wait until he's awake before he will now benefit from that passive. He's not gonna benefit from that passive by being asleep. All right, but let's dig deeper into his skill set, shall we? His A1 is a single target attack with a condition to turn into AoE. Might be super cool when dealing with bosses. That's too conditional. We want that A1 sleep to land. We don't want sleep sometimes, sleep not sometimes. No, we want everybody to be, that A1 slow speed to land. If you make it a single target A1 sleep, it will be better than trying to do a 65% AoE sleep. That's just the truth about sleep on an A1. People would have appreciated a 100% chance to play sleep debuff. I guess you could always boost it with some masteries since he's a support champion and not there for damage. That's what I would think about that A1. With the A2, Bambus places shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, which instantly becomes 3 turns as he increases the duration of all buffs. Okay, I thought he will place the shield after he increases the duration of buffs, but here they've clarified that he will increase the duration of all the buff, including the shield he just placed. 3-turn shield is good, I guess, in protection sets maybe, but as a shield set, it will be useful in PvE content though. The duration will be increased, yes. In the meantime, he decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, even on weak hits. That allows him to increase the value of shield buffs on all allies, by the percentage of all the buffs he decreases on the enemy. Using A3 allows Bambus to place Enfeeble debuff. Please explain this, Raid. And while it won't work against bosses, it's gonna be quite handy when dealing with waves in dungeons and Doom Tower. Enfeeble. And let's mention Arena as well. It might as well help to eliminate the opponent's damage dealer. Enfeeble. I'm gonna pause and come back to you when I google what Enfeeble debuff does. I found it after about 5 to 10 minutes of research. Not even Google knew the answer to this one. I searched on Google, Airhead's website did not have it. Even the Raid official Playdom forum list of buffs and debuffs did not have this debuff listed on it. I guess that's why I didn't know much about it, because it's attached to this new boss, this Akumori, the Phantom, the Shogun boss, right? And that boss that a lot of endgame players even ignore. So that's why I didn't know about it, because he's the first boss that had this debuff. So what does it do right here on the screen? Champions under this debuff can only place weak hits. So that means this our new Bambus will place Enfeeble, and then the enemies will only be able to do weak hits back to you. That's a PvP, more of a PvP type of debuff. So I guess, yeah, I finally answered the question. So does that mean his value of all of a sudden shoots up exceedingly? I don't know. Let me head back to what I was reading about this champion and see what else they have to say. See, even Raid did not have it, Hates did not have it listed, so I guess they have to update and add Enfeeble to their list of buffs and debuffs pretty soon. All right, so we're on this page, and I was almost at the end right here where I was talking about his A3, right? Or what they had to say about him. They say using this A3 allows him to place Enfeeble debuff, which we now know what it does. And while it won't work against bosses, it will be broken if it works against bosses. They'll only be doing weak hits on us. It's gonna be quite handy when dealing with waves in dungeons, Doom Tower. Yes, true. And it's probably not even gonna work on Hydra. And let's mention arena as well. It will be very, very useful in the arena, as might as well help to eliminate opponent's damage dealer. Yes. All right, so I guess it will be one target. Is it single target or is it multiple? Let me see again. This is target an enemy one, then has a 75% chance of placing Enfeeble debuff on the target enemy for 2 turns. The Enfeeble debuff cannot be placed on bosses. It can be resisted, it can be blocked, I guess. So it will be broken if they cannot block it, cannot be resisted or anything. So he still needs accuracy to land that Enfeeble debuff on one target. So that doesn't mean he's all of a sudden good. All right, let me go back to see what else they have to say about him. Accompanied by a few other useful buffs, increase accuracy, increase attack, makes him helpful to against high resistance teams. Yes. So that means with this champion in your team, you will need less accuracy to, on your debuffers especially. And yeah, Bambus falls asleep each time, but that kind of fits with his personality. Yes, we know they always go to sleep, and allows him to unlock the full potential of his cool passive. Again, that is not how you unlock his full passive. Remove that condition. It's cool enough that he just goes to sleep, but then it's not like only when he gets awakened by the enemy. No, only when he gets awakened by himself, by his passive, that's when he benefits. It should work even when he gets awakened by the enemy. That's when you are taking full advantage of his passive. All right, let me end it right here. That's all they have to say about him. Cool champion, cool, unique champion. The first of his kind to have Enfeeble debuff in raid. So again, does that make him all of a sudden become extremely useful? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments where you think Enfeeble debuff will be useful besides PvP. Because a lot of us don't care about that much about PvP. We are fine in our gold 5, and maybe one day in 2020 we'll go over to platinum and all that stuff. For now, he's just gonna be one of those champions where we're gonna be more useful in PvE than PvP. Later, guys.